Hello everyone, welcome to 3ddesignacademy.com. In this lesson, we'll continue with part 8 of the body side of Lexus LF-30 concept car. Okay, so in the previous lesson, I worked on this fillet over here. So let's go ahead and work on this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little measurement. I think the size-wise, it's pretty good. Let me just check a couple of images. Yeah, I think the size is pretty good for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rebuild it because right now you'll see that it's in multiple pieces. So let's go ahead and take a look. So information window looks like it's 100 to 150. So that's what I'll do. So let's go ahead and delete this one. And let's grab surface filler again. I'm just going to make sure that this is untrimmed. I know that there are several pieces because I was trying to do the fillets over here. So, well, since I'm done, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep them just in case. So first of all, I'm just going to take a look and get rid of the COS over here. And let's do this. I'm just going to grab a surface filler over here. It's going to be core. It's going to be G2 variable fillet. I'll start with 100 because it ranged from 100 to 150. I'm going to grab these surfaces over here and let's put that in. So I'm just going to make sure the direction is good. So right now it's set to auto. That's fine. And well, it should actually be starting from here. I think I might have accidentally deselected this one over here. So let's do it again. Okay, so it's 100 there. I'm just going to put one there and I'm going to put 150 over here. And it's set to auto, that's fine. I'm just going to change that to default over here, like this. And I'm just going to change this one to default as well. Okay, so now it's one piece. Now, because I actually stretched, because the 100 over here is all the way over here, I think it's actually a little bit larger, which is fine. I just gotta make sure that this one works over here. But let's take a look. If this size works, then I'll just proceed with it. Let me just take a look. Well, maybe it's not a bad thing that it's a little bit larger at the bottom. In fact, I might actually make it slightly bigger. Let's take a look. So I probably should have put a little bit of crown on this bottom surface. Right now, I think it's probably almost dead flat. That was probably not the best thing to do. But I think it actually might not be a bad idea to make this one a little bit bigger. So let's do this. I'm going to make this maybe 170. And maybe I'll make this increase it by 120 to make it 120 over there. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so that looks good. Should I make it a little bit bigger? Now, because of this shader that Toyota use is not as reflective as this, sometimes this makes the filler a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to shade sky over here. I'm just going to do analysis like that. And just look at the shade sky, I think this is pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use that. So actually I'm going to probably make this a little bit bigger, maybe 180 on this one, on this side. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's do that. So what I'm going to do is before I start, it's in it's in two pieces, which is good, but I'm just going to do Bezier just to make sure that the CV structure over here is good. That still keeps it in two pieces. And when I extend this one, that's going to make a better result. So I'll keep it this way. So let's go ahead and delete the construction history over here. And I'm just going to extend this piece over here. So what I'm going to do is just do an extend with merge off. And I'm just going to extend this one like that. Ooh, that's no good. Okay, so even with Bezier, looks like it's still stretching in a little bit weird fashion, which is okay. It's just not great. So I'm going to use a little bit different technique. So first of all, let me just stretch this over here like this, and I'm just going to grab a degree 2 curve over here, and I'm going to align this one over here like this, and I'm just going to make it a G2, and I'm just going to rail it over here. So let me just grab these two over here. And actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to stretch it all the way through here. Now, because of this piece probably needs to be a little bit flatter, so you can probably make the adjustment too, or you can just pull the CV a little bit so that it's a little bit larger. You can do that. Really depends on what you want to do. However, yeah, it's really up to you. Now that's it. However, let's go ahead and do this. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using stretch, I'm just going to do a rail. So I'm just going to grab this one as a position, or gen, I should say. And I'm just going to do that as a rail, and I think that looks good. However, I'm just going to make sure that it's curvature over here. I'm just going to make sure that it's curvature over here. It looks like it's doing a little bit of I don't think the continuous right there, so I'm just going to make it a degree 5 on both sides. Okay, and let's see what the CV structure difference is. Okay, so you'll see that this dips down a little bit. So I think it might be a better idea. Let me just make this both position. I'm just going to set rail as curvature and see how much it differs by. Okay, so setting this up as a curvature over here is good. However, I think this one is starting to deviate a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this one over here, and I'm just going to align it on this side. I'm going to make it curvature, and let's do this. I'm going to say position influence set to max, and I'm going to turn blending on. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to probably have the blend factor of 0 so that everything seems a little bit more gradual. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this up. And let's go, before I line it up at the bottom, I do need to trim convert it. So I'm just going to project it normal like this. And I'm just going to do a trim convert over here. And I'm just going to get rid of this one. And that looks good. And I'm just going to align position over here. Like this, I'm going to say partial. That drops it down. Blending will also need to be turned on. Blend factor extra series of 2, blend factor of 1. And that should be pretty good. Now that's it. However, this alignment wasn't good, so I'm going to, well, actually it was curvature, so yeah, I think this should be okay. So, oh, actually, you know what, we got curvature on both sides, and that's good. Highlight looks good. Let's actually go back to showroom. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just going to delete the construction history. Now that's it. However, this piece over here, I can do it hard edge. Actually, you know what, let's figure out the fillet size. Actually, it doesn't look that big. You know what? I think I'm just going to fill that in. However, I will need to do a filler over here. But let's go ahead and do this first. So what I'm going to do is I do need to set up a curve for the 4th edge. And I'm just going to snap it over here like this. And then maybe I'll just project it like that. I'm just going to say view should be okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and use a square again. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here like that. Okay, so 2 is going to be curvature. Unfortunately, side 3 will stay positioned because I will need to put a filler over here. There's going to be a fillet over here, and there is going to be a fillet over here. So side 3 will remain in position. However, side 2 will be curvature. And let me just turn on explicit control. Oh, that looks good. And 1 is also going to be curvature. Looks like there's a little bit of failure. Free. Oh, actually, I'm going to leave that on. Free boundary. Looks like there's a little bit of a movement, but it's not too bad. So I think it's just a matter of getting those lined up. I think the highlight looks pretty good, and once I put a fillet over here, I think the transition should be pretty good. So let's go ahead and make sure the continue is good. So I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and let's just trim this for now. Now I did separate this over here. I wish it did it with just a line up, but it looks like if you see the highlight over here, it didn't quite do that. So, well, that's okay. All right. So let's go ahead and check, get the surface continue checker, and I'm going to line it up over here. And here it looks like it's just a matter of getting curvature continue to be corrected. So let's go ahead and grab a line. And I'm just going to start with G2 over here. And that does fail a little bit more. So I'm going to say vector, nope. Skew. Okay, so let's try this. I'm going to align this one because it has a little bit more deviation. Okay, so it looks like that might be a little bit better. Well, yes and no. Let's see. So if I have the CV structure like this, which, to be honest, it's not to my liking. Looks like it actually gives me a little bit better structure, but I wonder if it's really worth to change this. What I could do is I can try to just do a rebuild over here. But, well, let's do this. I'm going to try without. And let's take a look. So I'm going to say vector. Say normal. Saying normal is a little bit better. Okay, actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me just revert it so that I have a copy. So I'm just going to copy and paste, put it in hide, just in case I need it. And let's go ahead and align this one over here like this. And I'm going to say vector. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to delete the construction history over here, and I'm just going to try to line these up. So first of all, let's do this side first because it's got a little bit more deviation. Now, of course, I could make it into degree 5. Well, let's do this. Actually, you know what? Let's just do that. Degree 5. Let's make our life a little bit easier. Still should be a good surface over here. Okay, so it's still deviating by 0.6. I'm going to say vector. Nope. That doesn't really have any effect. I'm just going to align this one over here. I'm going to say vector. Okay, so looks like deviation amount is a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the construction history. Let's grab this CV over here, and it's going to NUV. I'm going to say 5,000. Let's just try. Ooh, that's no good. I got curvature here, but it's failing over here. So I'm going to try a little different CV, a little different location. So that's 1.0. Now this probably has to do with the fact that some of the surfaces are a little bit flat. So what I'm going to do is, that makes it a little bit difficult. Okay, so let's grab the CV and see if I can. Actually, technically, I'm supposed to be aligning this one to this one. Technically, because this is essentially a primary surface. So maybe I'll just do that. Okay, so let's align this one first. So you'll see that there is a deviation. So I'm going to just have curvature on over here. I'm going to delete the construction history over here, and I'm going to grab this one. Actually, I should probably grab this one over here. And let's see if this works. Okay, I got it a little bit closer. But since it's turning to 1.0, I think I probably need to do a little bit. I probably need to control some of the CVs over here. So let's do this. I'm just going to grab the position over here. It's not really letting me. Okay, so let's grab this one. See if I can make a little bit of adjustments. 1.0. 1.15. Just going to try and grab CVs here and there and just try to get it a little bit closer. So it looks like it's seesawing here and there, which is, yeah, really shouldn't be doing that. It shouldn't just pop to a point. Oh, there we go. 0.12. You see that it just pops to right away to point 1.0. That's not supposed to be like that. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this one. You know what? Let's just leave it. I'm going to just pick a couple more CVs to see if I can get it to where it needs to be. But it looks like none are good. Okay, well, it's close enough, I would say. So unless some of the CVs on this side help me get there, I'm just going to, well, let's see. I'm going to, since it's a little bit sensitive, I'm just going to crank it up all the way to 500,000 and see 0.12. Yeah, okay, you know what? Let's just leave it like that. Unfortunately, I think that's about as much as I can get it to. All right, so that's that. So that looks pretty good. Highlight looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this piece over here. And next up, I'll probably have to do this one, and also this one. Now this is a Y fillet, so it's going to be a little bit complex. But since there is a little bit of size difference between the two, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to I don't know which kind of, well, actually, you know what? Since this is a lot bigger, I think I'm probably just going to do this on top of it. So instead of doing a traditional Y fillet with different size, I'm going to try to stack on top of it and see how that goes. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, this one, let's go ahead and just trim it. Actually, you know what? Let's not trim it. However, I do need to trim this though, like that. And I'll probably have this just flowing on top of this one. So let's do this. First of all, I'm just going to do an insert. I'm just going to, actually, you know what? Let's do this. Instead of doing an insert, I'm just going to chop this into two. However, I would like a copy, so I'm just going to say copy and paste, put one over here. And I'm just going to do detach over here. Just going to snap it over here. Oops. Looks like it won't snap over here. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so if that's okay, so let's do an extend. I'm just going to turn merge off. I'm going to extend this piece over here up to this point, which snaps. And I'm going to just do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this one. And I'm going to, actually, I wonder, this does need to climb onto this side. So I'm wondering if well, let's just delete it for now. I'm just going to grab a surface fillet over here. This is a tricky thing about variable fillets. Because the size is a little bit different as it goes towards the other side, it's going to be a little bit difficult to match everything. First of all, let me just trim this out. So I'm just going to say extend. I'm going to just trim that. This piece over here I no longer need. So let's just go ahead and hide it. Same thing with this one. So I'm just going to hide that. This one, hide it. And let's take a look at this one. So what I'm going to do, I probably should have built this one as, well, let's see. So this one, okay, so it's a 50 and 140. Let's see if I can replicate this. So I'm just going to grab these ones, including this piece over here, and I'm just going to see if I can just reenact it. So I'm going to say copy and paste 50 and 140. So I'm just going to untrim this piece over here like this, delete all the COS, say variable fillet, grab these ones over here. So variable fillet, I'm going to say 50 like that, and it's going to be 140 on this side like that, and that's what I get. Now my question is this going to be the same shape? I'm not sure. So first of all, I'm just going to turn Bezier surface off, and that looks a little bit ridiculous to be honest. However, what I'm looking for is just a path. So I'm just going to see if this matches the profile of the one that I built previously. And looks like it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is, unfortunately, just this makes it quite a little bit more complicated. I'm just going to delete it. And I think I'll probably have to just manually build it. All right, so if that's okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to set up a fillet over here, and I'll probably just do a... let's do this. I'm just going to do a surface fillet over here. And I'll probably just match it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a 50 over here like this. And I'm going to see how it does with a fillet. I'm just oh, actually, well, not exactly a fillet, or just a blend curve. So I'm just going to do this one over here, do this one over here. If the flow seems natural, that's good. But as you can see, it's not. So I'll have to do a little bit of adjustment there. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And let's just do an edit over here like this. Oops. And as you can see, the CV structure is a little bit going a little bit different place. So what I could do is I can do a variable fillet on this one too. So maybe I'll do 50 there, and maybe I'll just make this into 30 like this. And I'm just going to try get the structure to be somewhat similar so that it flows nicely. Now that's where it is going to be like this on this one, just because of the imbalance I have. Actually, if this is the case, I'm wondering if it might be better to just, you know what? I think it might need to. Okay, so let's just delete the curves over here, and I think I might have to just go back to the theoreticals over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So these surfaces over here, I'm going to say hide unselected. I'm going to say on trim. So basically get back to the theoretical on this side, and I'm going to get back to theoretical on this side like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the original fillet back, and let's grab this one. I'm going to put it back in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see where it ends up. That's where it's going to be placed. So let's go ahead and extend this one back a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a fillet. Actually, let's put this in a new layer and just hide it temporarily. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a fillet over here that's based on this size. So that's good. The flow is going to be good. Now that's what I don't know how this is going to work, but well, let's take a look. So let's see, I'm just going to do an intersect over here. It might be a little big. Let's take a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this edge over here. It looks like it's just a flat surface. So the intersection is also flat. I'm just going to place a curve over here. And basically that is where the curve is going to, or the tangent line is going to be. So I'm just going to project it there. And to get a similar setting, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a symmetry fillet tool. It is going to be G2, and I'm going to say both sides. Form factor will be 1, and everything is going to be just free default. I'm just going to click this one, accept, and I'm going to click the second surface where it needs to reside. I'm just going to make sure the direction is good, and that's good over here. So basically this is the theoretical, well, basically this is where the fillet is going to be. I'm just going to stretch this back out, and that's how the fillet is going to look, or where I'm going to set the edge. So I think that should be good, and I think that should be good over here. Okay, so let me just delete the construction history. Actually, if this is the case, I'm wondering if I can just make a ball corner. Maybe I can. Yeah, maybe I can do that. So maybe it'll be sort of like a ball corner kind of setting. Okay, so let's try that. Actually, you know what? This might be a little bit more complicated and might take a little time. So I think I'm going to, oh, where did this fillet go? Let me just make sure that I have this one. There we go. And I'm going to try and making a ball corner out of this. Actually, if I can succeed with just a ball corner tool or the corner blend tool, I'll just leave it. If not, I'll try in the next lesson. Okay, so I'm just going to set it to curvature, and this, of course, probably needs to be a lot bigger. So maybe I'll just make the base radius to 50 to start with. I'll click this one, and this one. Just going to click on this edge. Oh, it does make it. Okay. So base radius, of course, does have to be a lot bigger. So I'm going to say maybe 200. Even bigger than that, 500. Maybe 1,000. Okay, maybe not 1,000. Okay, let's start with 750. That actually looks pretty decent. Okay, so I'm just going to take control. CV structure is, to be honest, crap. But let's take a look at the highlight. The highlight's half decent. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. Okay, so I'm just going to check the continue, however. Oh, wow. Okay, so it looks like it's actually failing position. That's no good. But since I have the building blocks, and what I can probably do is I can probably make this into a trim converted surface, and that actually might work. Okay, so still failing. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and make this, change the size of this one. 800, still failing position, tangency, and all that stuff. Okay, so let's do this. I think I see a potential for this to work. And let's just make sure that the highlight looks pretty good. Yes, I mean, for it is, I think I can probably just leave it as is, to be honest. I mean, the continue is failing. But what I'm going to do is in the next lesson, I'm going to just make sure that that works. And the continue is corrected. But since yeah, it's not great. So but I do see a good potential for this. So it's not going to be exactly a Y fillet, but it looks like it's actually going to be a ball corner because of the fillet I set up over here. But I think it's actually a little bit more, I do feel like it's a little bit more controlled. So we'll continue this in the next lesson. All right, so that is it for part 8. We will continue in the next video, and thank you guys for watching. Want to learn more? Then become a member at 3ddesignacademy.com, where you will find hundreds of video tutorials ranging from basics, including car creations, intermediate level tutorials such as this wheel, all the way to Class A modeling of the entire car exterior. Interested? Visit 3ddesignacademy.com.